Hi guys, welcome back to the shop. There's Marley. What's up, girl? We got Bonbon in here tonight. She's all comfy. And yeah, Max is under there. Hey, Maxie. So yeah. Oh, let's see. I gotta clean my bench a little bit. Oop. I cleaned up pretty decent. The exhaust valves have some pitting on them. But the face looks good. I forgot to show you. When I was taking the, that's the one that I had to get out of there. Head broke off. When I was taking one of the other exhaust bolts out, that's where they attach the valves. They're two-piece exhaust valves in here. I'm not sure if the intakes are two-piece, but the exhausts are. So when you're going down the road, if you don't do your valve job and replace your freaking valves, someone told me the service interval for replacing exhaust valves is every 30,000 miles. Then, and it's happened to my other two Volkswagens. That head comes off, and it shreds the. Both of mine, the block was good. It just shredded the piston and head. I had to come up with another head, and I had to come up, well, you know, you get a set of jugs. But I've seen where this thing comes off and it'll break a rod and throw it right through the side of the block. On both of my other engines I did that happened to. Like I said, neither one of them broke the block. It just destroyed the piston and the head. But both of them I put stainless steel one-piece valves in those. So, but that was, good Lord, that was back in the 80s. So I'm gonna have to look and see what they sell for valves these days, and decide what I'm gonna do. Because they both broke off in the exact same spot. So that's where they attach these heads. These valve heads. And when somebody says they dropped the valve, and on both of my engines it was number 3 cylinder exhaust valve. Because that's the hottest running cylinder. That's what dropping a valve is that piece coming off. So, anyways, I brought home some valve grinding compound, and gonna lap some valves in just to see what those seats look like. Figure out a way to clean this up a little bit. And like I said, I'm not using these valves, but I'm going to use them to lap in just to see what the seats look like. So, good Lord. Well, there goes Bonnie. Yeah. So, give me a second. Let me see what I can do. Alrighty, guys. Alrighty. First round of cleaning on the heads. Just a wire wheel on the drill. Marley's right in the way. Thanks, Mar. Not too bad for the first round. I've got valve grinding compound. Like I said, I'm not grinding these to grind them in. I'm just gonna hit it to see what the seats look like. And I don't use one of them tools that go back and forth. I haven't in, holy shit, 35 years. That's my lapping tool. When I was looking for it, all it is a piece of braided fuel line from a foreign car, I take it. And an old screwdriver that broke. Goes in the drill and it goes over the frickin' stem of the valve, which it's starting to get a little hard, so it's a little harder to put on top of the valves. Made that back in the 90s, so that's how old that is. When I was digging for that, I found this in my toolbox. I don't know how good it is. It's an old Craftsman. I had a different one. I don't know what happened to that, but that was in my toolbox. So heck, we got piston ring expander tools that I totally forgot I had. Because from what I've heard, even though the pistons and jugs all come as a setup, I've heard that they don't gap the rings right. So even though it's supposed to be a set, you still have to take it apart and double check the gap, your end gap on your piston rings. So just keeps you from snapping a ring in half accidentally. So let me get set up here, and I'll show you a backyard valve job. Because I've done this on all sorts of stuff. Because you get them all, you take it all apart. Say you have a 300 Ford 6-cylinder head that you need to put gaskets, head gasket in. You pop the valves out. You clean them up with the wire wheel on the bench grinder. And kind of clean things up. And you do this and you basically have a valve job. And if you have any valves that are burnt, you just grab a new valve and lap it in. That's if you don't have the money to go take it in, have them do a real valve job. So we are not reusing these valves. On a 300 Ford, I would reuse the valves. But these are just to see what I got. So let me get set up here and see what we can do. Alright guys. Alright guys. How you doing? Alrighty. See if I can't do this and not mess up. Okay. Like I said, I'm not doing a full-blown lap in. Oh, there it comes out already. Because you put this on straight and then you start doing it. They add a little water and it breaks down and it gets finer. And you put a little water in for a polish coat, and you can read the package. It tells you how to do it. But I just want to know, I just want to make sure that all the seats are good. I should have cleaned some more room up, I guess. Anyways, I gotta straighten this up. I can let it go so long and then I have to clean everything up because it just gets out of control. I just want to get the valve grinding compound on the face of the valve. Like I said, this isn't a full-blown job. I just want to know the basics. So that's an intake valve. And try and keep it off the stem because you don't want to valve grind your guides. So the guides seem like they're still tight. I think we'll be okay. If the seats come out to where they're gonna work, I think this will be just fine. We're not building a high performance engine. We're just putting an old bug motor back on the road if I can find enough parts to do it. That's another intake valve. Back in tech school, they used to teach us about knurling the valve guides if they were wore. There's a tool you run through there and it basically cut screws in, which makes the valve guide expand in certain areas. I guess that's the way they explain it. Knurling the valve guides. Of course, when I went to tech school, they taught you how to rebuild carburetors, how to rebuild freaking generators and alternators. Now I don't think they teach you how to do any of that stuff. But yeah, that was back in the day. Starters, everything got rebuilt back in the day. Now nobody rebuilds anything. It's too bad. Of course, back then you could get a starter for 80 bucks. That's too much. That was before the gear reduction starters came out, and they went to a couple $100. Of course, back then, when you were in tech school, you had the big old Sun freaking engine freaking analyzer with 5 billion cables coming off it, and you hook into the exhaust pipe. You could hook into the exhaust pipe and hook in all sorts of sensors up, and you could tune your freaking carbureted engine to where it purred. And of course, Back then, I'd been doing it so long, I could freaking basically tune an engine by ear. I could time an engine, adjust carburetor by ear. That was back in the day. So anyways, whoop. We're just gonna put her on slow. Basically, it just goes in your drill. It's just a fuel line with an old screwdriver bit in it, and you put it on the valve stem, and you can sit there and you just run it. You just, well, give me a second here. Like I said, the rubber in it's 30 some years old now, so it's getting a little tough to get her on valves anymore. See if I can get her to work. Come on, baby. She's gonna fight me. I got this hammer in here trying to keep the head, and it's kind of interfering with putting this thing on the valve. Oh, for crying out loud. Maybe if I did that. It's about time to come up with a new tool, I guess. Anyways. You kind of let it go out and come back. And you just kind of use your finger to just kind of like pulse it. But like I said, we're not doing a full-blown valve job, so we're just gonna kind of hit these things. Well, the hose is starting to stretch. We're getting someplace. Starting to work again. I'm not grinding the grinder in, I'm just trying to see what I got. It didn't get on all the way. Close. Come on, baby. I guess it's time to make me a new tool. Hose has been around since the 90s. It's not happy anymore. Alright, I say that's good enough for now, just to see what we got. I'm not going to take that off the valves because well, I might just see what kind of pattern it has. But I'm going to do that head next. So, what do we think? Like I said, that was only just hitting her a little bit. Well, she needs a lot more cleanup. I'm going to take her to work, clean her up. Without going all the way through and polishing it. That's actually not looking too bad. I don't see any. It's not done grinding or lapping in because there's still. We didn't hit it very much. It's close. It's got a nice seat on those two. And that's what matters. Like I said, that was just basically starting. You do it a whole lot more than that. There's a spot right in there. That's an exhaust port too. There's only one spot on these four, but like I said, I didn't run it very much. It's just starting. I think I can make those frickin' work. It's got a nice angle to it. Let's see what the valve looks like. See if I can get this to where you guys can see it. That's get to where I can see it. It isn't even close to being ready, but it's got a nice pattern all the way around it. Nice width. I think this worked. I still gotta do a lot of cleaning on these heads. But yeah, I think they're salvageable. I just gotta get the studs out of her. So yeah, I'll put her all together and do the other head, just to make sure there isn't something I'm missing. Just a quick like that gives me lets me know if there's any place at the place where the valve seat is completely destroyed. Well, that one we're gonna wait because that got some valve grinding into the guide, so that's not good. So I'm gonna have to get some brake clean and blow that out because I don't want valve grinding compound in that guide. So give me a second. But yeah, just for a quick hit, Yeah, right in there is the one spot I didn't like. The rest of these have a nice finish to them. So yeah. That's the one spot I didn't like. I might take a valve and work that one a little bit more just to make sure. Right in there. It has to contact good all the way around. So far it's looking promising. At least something is for this engine. Alrighty guys. I still have to feed the cats, feed the dogs, fill their water bowls up, and fill all 5-gallon jugs I got up with water, because tomorrow when I get home it's supposed to be low, like 20 degrees, so everything's gonna be frozen again. So yeah, I got some chores to do yet tonight, and it's almost 9 o'clock, so yep, that's it. Alrighty guys, I'll talk to you all tomorrow.